Hello everyone, today is day 20 of Vlogmas and I know I missed another day yesterday. You guys, I thought I was on top of my Christmas shopping, but it didn't really register with me that Christmas is just a few days away. As you know, Christmas isn't only Christmas in my house, it's also my son's birthday and he'll be 16, so it's a big one. So it's been Christmas present shopping, birthday present shopping, organizing a birthday cake, planning for my contribution to the Christmas dinner. I kind of realized that I'm not as on top of everything as I thought I was, but I've made progress today. I bought the last of the presents, or at least ordered them online. I've got the Christmas dinner ingredients, I know what I'm going to do for the cake, and I spent about 7 geological ages trying to book a COVID booster for my 18-year-old son. I was finally successful in booking an appointment, but it's like a month away. It's like the Hunger Games out there. I did put my son on multiple pharmacy waiting lists, so we'll see if we get a spot in one of them before the actual appointment that we booked for him. Anyway, it's been an overwhelming couple of days, so let's get caught up on our calendar, starting with day 19. And here is the blurb for day 19. In 2016, a woman in Phoenix texted her grandson to invite him for Thanksgiving dinner. However, after a few texts back and forth, it was clear that she got the wrong number. End of story? Not quite. The young man who received the invitation asked if he could come over for dinner anyway, and these two complete strangers have now been enjoying Thanksgiving dinner together for several years in a row. I heard a similar story about a young man who was accidentally included in a group text in which the birth of a baby was announced. The young man posted a message to the group saying, sorry, I'm not part of this group, don't know how I got this message, but tell me where you're at because I've got presents for the baby. They gave him the room number of the hospital and sure enough, he showed up with gifts for the baby. It just goes to show that wrong number text messages are not always a complete loss. They can lead to some amazing things like this. The first act of kindness for day 19. It might not render you a dinner, but talk to an elderly person when you're given the chance anyway. A simple hi followed by a question or a compliment can make their day. This actually happened to me the other day. I'm trying to remember where it was, but I struck up a conversation with this elderly lady because both of us were annoyed by the same thing. I don't remember what was annoying us. Someone had done something. It must have been in the grocery store or... Oh, I remember what it was. It was in the line at the post office. We were waiting in the line at the post office. The line was insanely long. It was not moving. And both of us kind of gave up and left and decided to go back the following day. And as we were walking out, I made a remark to her and we ended up chatting for about 5 minutes. Really nice lady. The next act of kindness. Pick a date in the near future and invite some friends you haven't seen for a while over for dinner. Oh man. I know this calendar was probably designed some time ago. It's probably been in circulation for a few years. They definitely did not give that advice with a pandemic in mind. For context, it is January 2021 and Omicron is raging across the province. Things are starting to shut down, capacity limits are back. So we're probably not going to be inviting people over in the foreseeable future. However, I do want to get together with one of my friends. I haven't seen her for a while. I am triple vaxxed. She is triple vaxxed. Both of us follow all of our precautions. So I'd be okay getting together with her. So I think I'm going to set that up. And now let's look at day 20. Here is the blurb for today. In 2011, when an earthquake and tsunami caused a nuclear disaster in Fukushima, Japan, a group of more than 200 retired engineers volunteered to help stabilize and rebuild the plant. Since it would take 20 to 30 years to develop cancer from the radiation, and their life expectancy was shorter than that, they thought it was logical for them to switch places with workers who were younger and still had their whole lives to live. Wow! Just a day or two ago, I learned something new that blew my mind. Apparently, one of the world's first nuclear meltdowns happened right here in Canada, in Ottawa, and the man who had himself lowered into the reactor to disassemble it and prevent a complete catastrophe was Jimmy Carter. I saw this as a meme on Facebook, and I thought, that can't be true. But I looked into it, and it is. That is a true example of someone putting their own life at risk for the sake of the greater good. Let's look at today's first act of kindness. Send a letter or card to your local hospital, police, or fire department and thank them for something they've done for you. If you haven't needed their help, simply thank them for being there. Many years ago, during my days as a blogger, I was at a local coffee shop with my younger son, who couldn't have been more than 3 or 4 years old at the time. He had a big gash on his face from an accidental run-in he'd had with his brother. His brother had pushed him into a wall or something, and his face was all grazed. And he had this big band-aid pretty much covering his entire cheek. And we're sitting in this coffee shop. I got him a donut as a treat just to make him feel better. And as we were sitting there, a police officer walked in and started talking to my son. You know, what's your name? This is what my name is. Do you want to see a real police car? And he took my son out and showed him the police car, let him sit in the police car. It was such a sweet interaction. My son was over the moon excited. And at the end of it all, the police officer reached into his pocket and pulled out a box of kids' Band-Aids. I believe it was the backyardigans. And he took out a Band-Aid and he put it on my son's cheek over the top of the Band-Aid that was already there. It was just so nice. I did write a blog post about it that ended up being distributed to police departments all over North America. So every police officer in the country knew that I was grateful for the police officer who gave a Band-Aid to my kid. But you know what? It is nice to thank the people who are there for us in emergency situations. We would be so lost without them. And the second act of kindness. Really listen and ask lots of questions when your parents, grandparents, or someone else reminisce and tell stories about the good old days. I've been thinking about this so much. My mother grew up as a child during World War II. Her father, my grandfather, was off fighting in the war. And my grandmother was pretty much raising 3 kids by herself during those years in very challenging circumstances. So I've been thinking that next time I'm in South Africa, I would love to sit down with my mom, have a camera running, and just let her talk about everything she remembers from those days. Because the people who have those memories are not going to be with us forever. If you have an elderly person in your family, I would encourage you to ask them about their life experiences. What have they been through? What have they seen? What major news events were a big part of their lives? Not only does that preserve those memories for younger generations, it is a way of letting those elderly people know that the experiences that they had matter and their views about them matter. We need to communicate to these older people that what they went through in their lives and what they did and what they accomplished had a lasting impact. And that's it for day 19 and 20. If you're feeling a bit overwhelmed like me, take a moment to stop and breathe. Have a glass of wine or a mug of hot chocolate or a cup of tea, whatever you enjoy sipping on when you're enjoying a quiet moment to yourself. And take that moment for yourself. Stretch it out, make it last. Don't feel that you have to rush into the next thing on your to-do list. Just take a minute. Thank you as always for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. In the meantime, live your best life and be kind. Bye.